Parenting is such a big and demanding responsibility that it takes the combination of two persons, the father and the mother, to be able to carry it out effectively. This is not to say that single parents who, by way of circumstances, find themselves in need are completely to be write off. No, that's not what I mean. What I mean is this: the job is a lot easier and effectively carried out when the two parties are on the same page doing the job together. In our society today, we see people going their separate ways over unresolved circumstances or resolved issues, not minding what effect that has on the children. You, as a parent, if you find yourself in that situation and you do not give a blink of an eye over what happened to your child as a result of that decision, then it becomes a lot difficult, particularly when one party walks away and leaves the responsibility entirely in the hands of the other. The child at the end is the sufferer of the whole of those decisions. I'm going to be talking to us about a scenario recently that I'm privileged to know about and the kind of effect that is having on the child and even on the other party. Please get me right. This is not to say that because you are a single parent, I am here to condemn you. What I mean is this: it's a lot tasky, a lot difficult when the responsibility of carrying out the training of a child in the place where the child grows to become an adult should be left in the hand of a single person. Some cases it is beyond your control. For instance, when it is the case of death, you do not have control. Every one of them here on earth here have a time that God has given to us to live. And if that happens and death takes one party away, the other party goes on to continue with the that the family has started at some point. That is understandable. On the other case, it could also happen that the man or the woman becomes so abusive to the point that the life of the partner is being threatened. In that circumstance, the need to separation is also advised so that nobody passes or die under the circumstance of trying to say you want to stick to because of the health and the development of your children. Now back to it. It is a responsibility for every individual to make sure that the developmental process of a child is not interrupted as a result of the inability of two adults living together to settle their differences. In other case, there are people who are not even married, and when they are not married, the man do not see the woman as his wife or responsibility of coming together, but they co-parent, and in some way the child goes through the process and the child become an adult and at the end become a responsible citizen. I'm going to talk to us about an individual. I'm not mentioning him here. A young lady who was in an abusive relationship. She endured with this concept of you don't walk away. She endured to the point that the man became very abusive every now and there. But it got to a breaking point because every human being has a breaking point. The woman could no longer continue with it anymore because at every point she was getting to the edge of giving up. And then one day she just woke up and said, I cannot continue with this. Now I've got children for this man, and then we'll continue. And every day, every slighted mistake or misunderstanding, it gets into beating. One thing that I have realized, I have overstudied over time, that I have come to realize is that once the process of beating starts, the moment it starts, it becomes a very difficult thing to break out. It's just like an addiction. When the man smokes and begins to smoke, it takes the intervention, the divine intervention, for that person to stop smoking. That is how it is with beating. But back to our story. This woman continued, and one day she felt there was no need to continue anymore because she's had a lot of stories, people who had been killed as a result of the domestic violence. It's not in all cases that just men battering the woman. It has also been the other way, but that has not been very, very much talked about. But let's go back to the story. And then this woman walked away. Meanwhile, all of this period that the man had been battering the wife, the child was growing. They had a child, and that child was growing in their marriage. Like I've always said, if you've listened to my video in the past, I've always said that whatever situation the child finds himself in the home, that is the situation that the child patterns their life after. They see it as a model because the parents are meant to provide model to the child as a way of life. The child grows up under you, but just to get the life solutions to situation. the child also realized that in every days of life, decisions are taken, situations are going to present themselves to you, how you approach them. But they have the two parents, they have a mother and a father who have been presented with a situation that the child has been seeing. And so whichever approach you give to that situation that presents itself before the child and the family, the child copies from there. So the child started copying it gradually. What the child understood at that point was that whenever there is disagreement, whenever there is anything that does not go well with you, the stronger party goes and the weaker party, and then that goes into violence. That's what the child silently learned. And so the woman walked away. And when the woman walked away, men are usually could always take their way, find their way, go to other place, move on with the other women and all of that. The woman here is left with, because of the bond that they had with the child, and then they continue to stay together. Now, fast forward, the woman got the child into school. The child now is in secondary school. But that healing has not taken place. While she was battling with the pain of the divorce process, the pain of the fact that she's given all her time, she wasted her time with this marriage, even though it produced a son. Now, the pain is difficult for her to get over it, but there's another responsibility of parenting this young boy. And so, they got to school for this child. This young boy went into school, and now it is time for her to face real life situation, just like she's faced at home. Like I've always said, the child grew up to see that the only way to address issues is by battering the weaker one being battered by the stronger one. And of course, children will always want to take that position. So the child got into school, and each time the complaint that was coming to the mom was that the child was beating up people, and at some point, because of the violent disposition of this child, the first school rusticated the child. The mother felt that probably they were not patient enough with the child, and then she went ahead to get another school, secured admission for her in another school. They admitted her. And when they admitted him, and when they admitted this young boy, the boy went ahead again. Unfortunately for her, she did not take the right step. Well, the immediate solution was to get another school for the child, but the solution was not there, because what she has just done, she just papered the crack. She just addressed the symptom. She had not taken care of what actually had gone wrong with the child, because she did not recognize it. Even if she had recognized it, she doesn't know what to do. And so the child went into the next school, and then the same process continued. And this time around, it went higher, because the child felt, after all, if I get from this school again, my mother is there, she will take me over there. You don't blame the child, because that is exactly the solution given to the child by the parents. She does not understand anything. And so the child went ahead, and this time around, he battered a mate, a small girl, and this time the girl fainted, passed out, and was taken and admitted in the hospital. The school couldn't bear it. They went ahead again and rusticated the young person. The mother sat back and was crying. What do I do now? School 1 has rusticated, school 2 now has just rusticated, and aside the fact that rusticated this son of hers, there's every likelihood that this same young boy could one day end up murdering somebody, killing somebody, and then that will be the end. The child will be taken to jail or whatever, taken away from the mother, and then he was going to serve it, because the law will not just fold its hand, allow, because the child has a very poor upbringing, to go and destroy the life of other person. And then the mother is helpless. And then she was asking, and I asked. Now, unfortunately for her, she hasn't been able to understand that this is where the problem is. And I back to our story now. The reality around her situation is this. That woman needs proper healing. The pain of the fact that she got all her life wasted in that marriage, even when it was time for her early, the signs were there for her to leave. She decided not to leave because she wanted to stay back and hoping that the man would change. And the man never changed until she one day realized that there was no need staying back, and she walked away. All of those periods she wasted, she kept living in regret. So that healing has not taken place for her. But let's leave our case apart. Now, the child himself, getting another school for that child may appear to be like the immediate solution, but that is not how to solve it, because there is a root-seated issue that has not been addressed. And what it's all about, it's also called childhood trauma. That child has been given that impression that the only way to approach issues when they are presented to you is by going violent. The mother never saw love. The mother never saw love from the father. The child was watching. The father was always battering the mother. The child was watching. the mom of the dad and say, okay, let's settle this. What is the problem? There was shouting, there was anger, there was a boisterous environment. The child was always growing up, and it became like a nature for that child. And so the only way to help that child is not by changing the school. Changing the school in the immediate might be the solution instead of keeping the child at home, but you need to quickly run the child through a process which is called a therapy. And the therapy here is not because the child will not be able to understand until a professional sits down with the child to understand that this is where your heart is coming from. Now, there have to be another blueprint given to that child, and that cannot just be done by talking to the child alone or yourself. The professional have to, first of all, unearth those feeling, those kind of solutions have been buried in his heart where he grew up with, to a point where they completely assume everything and taking a therapeutic process, take the whole of that away, and then you can now refill in the good idea, the positive idea on how to be able to address issues. When you are trampled upon by colleagues, when you are being challenged by colleagues, when things do not go in your own favor the way you expected them, this is not how to approach it. It is a way of helping the child to pull back from that life that the child had lived all his life. He had never seen any positive example. He had not been given any other options. The only option the child has always lived up to see is the option of violence that is given to the child by the parent. And it is difficult to send the child to another school again if the mother continues to do that without visiting the therapist, without taking that child away, separating them from that kind of example that was given to the child. It will be very difficult for that child. And whether you like it or not, the child was rusticated at first, now sent to the second school, second to rusticated him again, and then that chain will continue until it is broken. And the only way to break it is to pull them out. Number two solution is the mom. The mom now happened to take up the responsibility of the father and the mother. But that woman that is taking up that responsibility has an issue herself. It is not possible to be effective in parenting when you have issue yourself. That issue needs to be solved. That woman needs to go through a therapeutic process. She needs to forgive herself. The issue of blame, kept blaming herself. I made the mistake. It is even possible, but before she said yes to the man, before they got married, one or two persons will probably have told her, don't marry that man. And because of that, it happens. And then the woman goes back to it. My mom told me, my friend told me, my dad told me, our group told us, and all of that. She probably will be going back to that, thinking about, I was told not to marry this man, I married this man. And aside that, you should keep remembering her said at some point when I said I wanted to go, the people who even told her not to marry, perhaps who told her not to marry the man at the beginning, may not even be they may not even have all of this reason. They didn't envisage it. The man didn't even get to this point. The man probably had got that kind of attitude or kind of way of life on the way into the marriage. So it may not be correct, but what happens when you find yourself in that situation is begin to think over the negative, begin to think over all the things you didn't do, and that comes with a whole lot of guilt and blame and all of that. She keep blaming herself. She first of all had to forgive herself for that, because we make mistakes. That's what makes life dynamic. You must make mistake in life, and when you make mistake, what mistake expect you to do is to learn from them. Life throws challenges at you. You make mistakes as you take decision, because in life, you take decision. Whatever you are today is that the result of the decision you took yesterday. And if you don't take decision, then you are going to damage your life further. So life is about decisions. And when you take decision, you are not expected to make it all through. That is why you grow and mature every day, because of the decision we're taking. You make the decision today, the decision didn't end well for you. It turned out to become something that hurts you eventually. Next time when the decision presents itself that way, you will be a better person because you have learned from what has happened. And then if one or two other persons around you have that kind of situation and they say, that is why the place of counseling comes. And then they said, I want this is the situation I am right now. I said, no, you can't do it that way because I have done it before and I've failed. That is the beauty of life. That is dynamism of life. So she needs to forgive herself, go through the therapeutic process. If it is possible, go back to the parent, to the father. I'm not saying go back to go because they'll marry him rather, because they've done that. But you can go back, let them forgive each other. We made a mistake, everything had gone wrong now, and the child is affected now. Let's come together and see how we can help this child. The dad might be somewhere playing the responsibility of the man, the mother will be here playing the responsibility of the mother, and all of them coming together, forgiving themselves. And then when all of this is done, you'll be surprised that a new thing will happen. The child will go back to school. The child will become a new person. The child now is given a different option. The child is being told now that example that was given to the child that you grew up with was the wrong one. That's what is destroying his life. Otherwise, if nothing is done fast, that child definitely will not be able to continue the situation, because after being rusticated from 2 schools and the thing continues, that chain continues without being broken. It will get to a point where the whole school in that environment would have rusticated the child and there will be no school for that child again. And the next thing is to go on the street. Or one day, the child hits someone, the person passes, and then it becomes a problem. The child is taken away from the parent. That is how it is to address that issue. And I'm hoping that the mother and the son will be able to go through this process. They find the right healing, they find the right therapy to help them through. And by the time they do all of this, things will get back to shape. Back to us here. The reality of life is this: life throws up challenges every day, and as we address it, we get better with it. If you are finding yourself in this kind of situation, it is good that challenges are coming. You can't rule out challenges out of life, otherwise you become meaningless. But as they come your way, try to do your best to make sure that the past that is holding you here can destroy your tomorrow. Leave that behind, get healed, forgive yourself for all the mistakes you have made, so that you can forge further. Your yesterday, is gone. And that yesterday, if you are not cut yourself away from it, it has the potentiality of holding you back today, and your tomorrow will be in a very serious doubt. Thank you very much for waiting up to this point of the video. If you are just, like I've always said, if you are a returning subscriber, I want to thank you for finding the faith to be with us here. I also want to enjoin you to share this video to others who might be having through and want to find this tip very interesting and very helpful for them, so that we can reach more people. A lot of people are going through a lot out there, and some don't even know what to do when it happened to them because of the pressure that comes with the issue. They make so many mistakes and they continue to run with that, and that can lead them into depression. But if you share to them, they might be getting help from this short video, and as they continue to be part of us, probably maybe you send it to them and they say, what, we're part of that particular platform, and let's see what we can do. If you have any issue that you want us to discuss about, you can leave your comment and then we'll address it. And you want to talk to us, you can as well do the same. Make sure you share this so that it does not remain with you. Others that are going to be part of this are going to join us. They are going to be helped as well. And as we do all today, we're going to have a wonderful society tomorrow. Thank you very much and have a brilliant time ahead. Thank you.